Get off the phone, we're having dinner. In a minute. All my friends have one, why can't I? Sound familiar? Smartphones and our kids. It's a nightmare all families face. Now a former Facebook worker is dishing the dirt on how the social media giant knows it's harming children.
Every time they click, every time they like, every time they comment, every time they swipe, every time they share, no matter what they do, they give those companies more information to keep them there.
Some of my friends are like addicted to their phone. Like, it's definitely like a problem, I feel. Like, it's just like everyone has to be on their phones.
It's the biggest battle being played out in family homes across Australia.
Did you have to use your computer? Did it work this
And
time?
the Dunns are no exception.
So they can become quite obsessive over them at times. It's big distractions. When asked even just to do things around the house, it's just until I finish this, Mum, or until I finish that, Dad. Miss Lizzie sent through the videos too for dance.
Mum and Dad Beck and Jason are constantly arguing over phone time with kids Georgia, Olivia and Hunter.
As soon as they are asked to move away from their devices, you can tell that they're wondering what's happening in that chat while they're not around.
It's mostly at dinner time, because like sometimes Hunter will go, oh, can I eat dinner in my bedroom, to like go on my phone or like be calling someone, and they'll be like, no, you can sit up here, and if we like go on our phones at dinner time, they'll tell us to put it down, and like no phones at dinner table.
A new technology debate has exploded after whistleblower Frances Haugen, a former product manager for Meta, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, unloaded on the trillion-dollar social media company during her Australian tour.
Meta has profoundly changed the lives of children. They've intentionally developed a set of psychologically manipulative features designed to maximize young users' time spent.
The people should be looking at Zuckerberg and saying, turn around and make a Congress.
Parenting expert Justin Coulson agrees.
The mendacity, the duplicitousness of these tech CEOs, they say that they're trying to protect our kids, but they're not.
Frances Haugen has worked behind the scenes and witnessed firsthand the tactics of Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook and Instagram. She told Australian audiences kids 14 and under should be banned from having their own phone.
We need to ask, do people in this phase of life deserve extra protection? Products that are free are not free. Advertising-supported products are paid for by you, by your health and your focus. You are not optimized for.
Coulson knows the dilemma technology presents for families.
One of the biggest challenges that we've got is that our kids want to be there because that's where their friends are. We know that this is bad for them, and yet it's kind of where they need to be so that they can be healthy and happy. And yet it is the great unhappiness machine.
Parents know it too.
Yeah, you can't live with them and you can't live without them.
Back in the day, we'd be able to call our parents from a payphone or use 1300 reverse to be able to get access. We don't even have a home phone here anymore. So for our children to be able to contact us, we use obviously our mobiles. Our children do walk to and from school independently, so we like to be able to track to make sure that they've made it to school safely.
Okay, Georgia, what's your favourite thing to do on the phone?
Definitely go on TikTok. Like, that's all I do, just scroll.
What about you, Olivia? What do you like to do on the phone? What's your favourite thing on the phone?
The same thing, just like go on TikTok.
So has TikTok way overtaken Instagram for kids your age?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
TikTok's the go, is it?
But sometimes I get bored of TikTok, so I go on Instagram.
What about you, Hunter? What's your favourite thing to do on the phone?
I either go on TikTok or Snapchat.
Coulson has a simple set of rules for parents.
No phones in the bedroom. No phones in the bathroom. No phones at the dinner table. No phones when you're hanging out with your friends. I encourage families to develop what I would call rituals of connection. That might be sitting around the dinner table with no devices and connecting, talking, seeing each other, hearing each other, valuing each other.
The kids have gotten to school okay.
And like most families, the Dunns have rules.
We are friends with them on their social media accounts, so that way we can see what's being posted. And there are times where I will ring them up and say, you've posted something that's inappropriate, you need to delete it. I think that's our role as a parent, to be watching what's going out and about, because they are young. They don't understand what potential other people could be using or seeing their profiles.
But will they ever win the battle?
Well, kids your age should know more about the phone than your mum and dad.
Definitely, yeah. Like mum and dad is like still learning. I'm just like, I have to like go step to step on how to do things, or like you know, just silly things like that.
Yep, parents pull their hair out over this, and it has certainly aged Neil Breen.
It has.
You're in the thick of it. What happens in your household?
Well, my older daughter, Juliet, she's 19, and she's out the other side of it, and sort of it was an issue for her at high school. I've got a 16-year-old daughter as well, Matilda. The issue with her is, yeah, she'll use TikTok and all those things, but it's really the non-stop texting and discussions with friends. You know what I mean? They have these big friends. It just goes all afternoon and all night. And so we always have to make sure that, you know, Lovey, you've got to sort of put the phone away and everything. A different story with our 9-year-old son, Harry. He's in the iPad phase. And if you let him, he's like an addict. If you let him have a little crack at the iPad, then getting it away from him is the problem. But once you get away from him, he'll run out and play soccer. So they're all at different stages.
Who has to be the bad parent there, you or Lizzie?
Lizzie. I'm a really soft touch. But every household grapples with this on different levels. The games, I worry about the games that, you know, Fortnite and those things, those big level games that suck and lure kids in. And I think it's a real danger. It's a problem for all of us.
Well, what did Justin Coulson call them? He called it the great unhappiness machine. Smartphones. What do you think of his rules? Because two that I found interesting, not in the bedroom, and also not when you're hanging out with friends.
Really difficult, like, because your kid's bedroom is their space and you want them to be able to enjoy their space. I think that's a really difficult one to police, and also when they go out with their friends. Look, I've seen my kids out with their friends, and when they're together, the friends aren't just sitting there on the phone, they're all interacting with each other. We use rules more like at the dinner table. There is no phones, and we all have dinner together, and we have a technique where I tell them all everyone at the table's got to give us an interesting fact that happened today, we call it, and like something silly that happened, you know, Harry said, oh, the librarian got mad at Billy because he didn't bring his book back, or whatever. And so we're all interacting with each other, and also making sure you do family activities on the weekend that don't involve technology. But when you're tired and you've been at work all week, it's easy. I'm going to lie on the couch and watch the footy, and the kids can do whatever they want. They can go into an abyss. Yeah. You know, they just into those phones, they sort of take an inch, take a mile.
But I mean, if we're honest, we can do that as well, right? Like we can get tired and all of a sudden you find yourself, you've been scrolling for hours.
Through the phone.
Because we're on the other side of this, right? Mike and I, our kids are 7 and 5, so this is all still ahead of us. And the big question we've got is, when do we give them a phone? When did you do it?
When the girls started year 7, when they started high school. I still thought it was, and my wife, Lizzie, thought it was too early as well. But we thought year 7, once they go to high school, you want to be in contact with them. Every other kid's there got them. Look, it's hard to deny technology to your kids when all of their friends have got it, because then they get left behind, they get left out, the kids are meeting each other, they're using text to meet each other. So we thought that was a good age. But you have to start them somewhere, and it's just a matter of watching them. But I think the great point that was made by Georgia in that story at the end was kids know way more about phones than we do.
Yep.
You can ask them a million questions and they'll have you lapped.
You know, there is part of me that goes, I wish they were never invented, but I love scrolling.
Yeah, well, look, phones have changed our lives. Like when I went to school, we got to school with a 20-cent piece in case we had to ring mum and dad at some stage. Yep. You know, went to the phone box. And that's
showing your age,
that was just life, showing my age, all right.
Thank you.